like, share, subscribe. Shouts out to the Lions Den community. And don't y'all forget to subscribe to the podcast show. Link will be pinned in the top of the chat.
Just name the channel who can bang with us. I'll prove that you are smoking dust. GGD Media is top notch in this game, y'all. You failures only have yourself to blame, y'all. Cricket TV and a weapons make you suckers cry. Why don't you close your channel, crawl into a hole and die? Shout out to those who love our movement, no, we'll never flop until you get your mouth on LDBC. We are the underground outfit, y'all. We built this whole thing by ourselves, look in y'all. Independence start with self-preservation. If you can't take care of self, then how can you build a nation, y'all? Yeah, we got that merch for the ladies and yes, we even got that merch for the babies and we got appliances and everything that you will need. We got some banging songs that make anemic haters bleed.
Well, salute everybody in the chat. Y'all like, share, subscribe. Press 1 if y'all can hear me in the comments. If you guys can hear me in the comment sections, press 1 if y'all can hear me in the comments. Appreciate all y'all tapping on in. Again, press 1 in the comments if y'all can hear me. Salute to everybody. Like, share, subscribe. Appreciate all y'all tapping on in. And we're going to get on with this video, man. Let y'all know exactly what's going on in this situation. As we got some updates on this Shannon Sharpe thing, and this thing is not good, man. So apparently, Shay Sharpe, he has pretty much the entire network. Y'all can hear me? I bet. Salute everybody. Appreciate that. Apparently, Shannon Sharpe has the entire network against him at ESPN, and now we're understanding, and we're getting more understanding to why Stephen A. Snitch came out, and we all was saying, hey man, Stephen A. turned his back on Shay Sharpe. Man, Stephen A. chose money. He chose to keep his job because now what's being revealed that happened behind the scenes, they are saying that Shannon Sharpe's situation has caused an absolute war zone behind the scenes at ESPN with his co-workers. They are saying that Shannon Sharpe has ticked off so many of his co-workers and people who were, I guess, I'm going to tell you guys from this article what's going on. Y'all smash the like button. Salute everybody. I see y'all coming on in. So, according to a report that just came out from the U.S. Sun, and it just came out, as you guys see it right there on your screen, it says, also, they have Shannon Sharpe's replacement lined up already. Now, I'm going to let you know who they're saying that his replacement is going to be already. Because Shannon Sharpe ain't coming back. That's how they saying it. And Shannon Sharpe, the smartest move he made was getting his own network, his own platform to fall back on if something like this happened. That was the smartest move that he made because the way it seems, he's not going back to ESPN, bro. He said he's going back. They don't want him back. And I'm finna tell y'all from this article. So it says that new faces, it says favorite to replace Shannon Sharpe revealed after disgraced star pushed. So Shannon Sharpe says, I'm stepping away myself. They said, the reports are saying that from behind the scenes at ESPN, he was pushed out, right? And is stepping aside over the R-word accuser scandal. And it says ESPN sources say shocking Sharpe revelations have caused a quote-unquote war zone type of atmosphere behind the scenes. Now, let me say this to y'all. There was already reports coming out that it was behind the scenes people that didn't like Stephen A. or didn't like Shannon Sharpe. You guys got to remember this. For the last few months, there have been reports of tension behind the scenes at ESPN that have been going on without this scandal coming out. So Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith have already had people who didn't like them and who were going in on them behind the scenes and going to the media. How do I know? Because we reported on it on this channel and we dropped links to the story where there were multiple sources, and Stephen A. Snitch even talked about it on his YouTube channel when he had that infamous beef a few months ago with Jason Whitlock. Stephen A. Smith went on his channel and said that, hey man, there's people that's out here that's trying to get me fired. It's people that's my coworkers that's talking about me behind my back. I know who you are, and y'all are trying to get me fired. People have been very upset. They said that Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe have been getting preferable treatment behind the scenes at ESPN. And I'm like, hold on, y'all mad about that? They're the two biggest stars. They're gonna get the most preferential treatment because when you're the biggest stars, you're gonna get preferential treatment. But now, since this situation happened, it was already tensions because they were calling Stephen A. Mr. Greedy and all this other stuff because they said that Stephen A. was getting his money over everybody else and all this other stuff. Blah, 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 blah. So they had the nickname for Stephen A. Smith called Mr. Greedy. And they just said that Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe was just running around here, behind the scenes, acting a fool, basically, is what the, co-workers were leaking out. But now with this new story that comes out, it has some shocking and absolutely turning twist to this story. Now, I'm going to read this article to you guys, and so you guys can come along with me in this article. It says, an NFL legend has emerged as one of the favorites to replace Shannon Sharpe on First Take, sources have told the U.S. Sun. Now it says that Sharpe, who's 56 years old, is currently facing sexual assault allegations from an unnamed woman who was named following the end of their relationship in 2024. Now it goes on to say, on last Thursday, Shannon Sharpe announced he temporarily stepped away from ESPN duties. Now it says additionally, right now, it says that the U.S. Sun has obtained a lawsuit filed by another one of Shannon Sharpe's former girlfriends, Michelle Bundy Evans, who also claims she was assaulted. While the three-time Super Bowl winner has maintained his innocence, he stated that he will take time off ahead of the new NFL season later this year. An ESPN source, however, told the U.S. Sun that the Super Bowl winning legend right there on your screen, Jason Kelce, who's 37 years old, is being considered as one of the top candidates to step into Shannon Sharpe's role on ESPN First Take. It says that the former Philadelphia Eagles star, now retired, is highly regarded at the network after an impressive debut season as a pundit. ESPN executives reportedly believe that Kelce's outspoken persona would be a strong match against Stephen A. Snitch. Now it goes on, right? It goes on. It says one insider revealed, right? Now listen to this. One insider revealed that other talent at ESPN, such as Monica McNutt, you guys see that on your screen? It says Monica McNutt is one of a number of ESPN employees said to have been rocked by Shannon Sharpe scandal. It goes on, you guys. It says Mad Dog, Sad Dog Russo, and also Dan Orlowski are also evaluating the situation as developments unfold. And also, you guys, also from the rafters, y'all, Molly Karam. Shannon Sharpe's in trouble, bro. See, it's all coming out now while Stephen A. was acting the way he was acting. Molly Karam, who sat up there and had no issues when Dana White pushed his wife on that tape, and Dana White came back on ESPN and he told him on ESPN. Dana White said, I ain't punishing myself. I ain't going nowhere. Molly Karam, who have been loud, outspoken about every other brother's issues, was quiet when Dana White said it. She sat up there and kikied with Stephen A. Snitch and Dana White. But they're saying Molly Karam now and other ESPN staffers have reportedly found the ongoing storm surrounding Shannon Sharpe difficult to take. He's done. Remember, all LeVar Ball told Molly Karam was, well, Molly Karam said, hey, LeVar, let's shift gears. LeVar was like, hey, I shift gears any day you want. LeVar Ball gets banned from ESPN, demonized or banned from ESPN. You haven't seen LeVar Ball on ESPN yet. Again, since. He was banned. And Molly Karen ran with that. And like I said, he was banned for that interaction with Molly Karen. But Dana White, who pushed his wife twice on tape, still does business, still's on the show. They still have no smoke for him, still no problem. But now they're saying that Monica McNutt, Molly Karen, and these other staffers are feeling away about Shannon Sharpe. Now you're starting to see why Stephen A. Snitch, who just got that $100 million contract, why he ain't opening up his mouth, because he don't want that fire. Because remember, and I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to remind y'all of something. Stephen A. Snitch, the last time there was a controversy about a black man and a black woman, it was Ray Rice. Now let me remind y'all about what happened with Stephen A. Snitch and Ray Rice. Ray Rice got caught on an elevator, right? In a situation with his wife to where it got physical. He put his hands on his wife, and Stephen A. Snitch went on national TV and said, I do not condone Ray Rice putting his hands on his wife for no reason. But Stephen A. Snitch said that, but I will say this, woman should not be, and I'm going to say it again, he said woman should not be provoking a man to hit them, is what Stephen A. Snitch said. For those comments, Stephen A. Snitch co-workers at the time, specifically Michelle Beadle, was irate. And Michelle Beadle, she broke company policy. And she went off and spoke about this situation, and she demonized Stephen A. Smith. For you guys who don't know what happened, she demonized Stephen A. Snitch for this situation. Demonized him. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. All right. She demonized him for that situation. Remember what I'm telling y'all now. So if you guys don't remember, Michelle Beadle, she went on, right? She went on, and how Michelle Beadle still doing anything, I don't know. She running around here using the N-word, so we don't even know how she's anywhere, right? So Michelle Beadle, right? She went in on Stephen A. Snitch, right? Now, I'm going to play those comments because I'm going to put this all together for y'all about what happened at that time with Stephen A. Smith and the reason why Stephen A. Smith is now refusing to take Shannon Sharpe's side. Now, I'm going to put this for you guys, for everybody to see right here, and we're going to get to this. This is what Stephen A. Snitch said that got him suspended that day.
About you. And here's what I mean by that. We keep talking about the guys. We know you have no business putting your hands on a woman. I don't know how many times I got to reiterate that. But as a man who was raised by women, see, I know what I'm going to do if somebody touches a female member of my family. I know what I'm going to do. I know what my boys are going to do. I know what I'm going to have to remind myself that I work for the worldwide leader. I'm going to have to get law enforcement officials involved because of what I'm going to be tempted to do. But what I've tried to employ the female members of my family, some of whom you all met and talked to and what have you, is that, again, and this is what I've done this all my life, let's make sure we don't do anything to provoke wrong actions. Because if I come or somebody else come, whether it's law enforcement officials, your brother, or the fellas that you know, if we come after somebody has put their hands on you, it doesn't negate the fact that they already put their hands on you. So let's try to make sure that we can do our part in making sure that that doesn't happen. Now, you got some dudes that are just horrible, and they're going to do it anyway. And there's never an excuse to put your hands on a woman. But domestic violence or you know, with or whatever the case may be, with men putting their hands on women is obviously a very real issue in our society. And I think that just talking about what guys shouldn't do, we got to also make sure that you can do your part to do whatever you can do to make to try to make sure it doesn't happen. We know they're wrong. We know they're criminal. We know they probably deserve to be in jail. In Ray Rice's case, he probably deserves more than the 2-game suspension, which we both acknowledged. But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we learn as much as we can about elements of provocation. Not that there's real provocation, but the elements of provocation, you got to make sure that you address it, because what we've got to do is do what we can to try to prevent the situation from happening in any way. And I don't think that's broached enough, is all I'm saying. No.
So those comments, and I'm played that so y'all can get a clear history on why Stephen A. Snitch sat up there, and why Stephen A. Snitch sat up there and did what he did now with Shannon Sharpe. Because in the past, when there was the controversy, Stephen A. Snitch made those comments, and Michelle Beadle came out smoking Stephen A. Smith for that. And then y'all seen the aftermath of that whole situation. Y'all seen the aftermath. ESPN went on to, it was either they suspended or fired Stephen A. Smith, is what they did. Now, Stephen A. Smith, they broke him all the way down to a molecule, because what they did with Stephen A. Smith, they caught him after that, right? They caught him on TMZ coming out the airport. I never forget it. And when they caught Stephen A. Smith coming out the airport, when he was on suspension, right? When he was on suspension, right? Stephen A. Smith looked like a defeated man when they caught him coming out that airport. And I'll never forget it. And when they ran up on Stephen A. was a broken man, point blank period. He was a broken man. So now we have this situation to us where, you understand, you have Shannon Sharpe. Now I'm going to play when they ran down on Stephen A. Snitch. Now y'all heard what he said on that tape. Stephen A. got suspended for saying that no man should put his hands on a woman. But when he said that a woman shouldn't provoke a man, that made her upset. Now, let's see what happened right here when TMZ ran down on Stephen A. Smith.
Stephen, how's it going, sir? I'm all right. Just want to know how you're holding up after everything.
Oh, man, deal with the things that you do.
Have you heard from or reached out to Michelle Beadle at all?
No.
No? Do you think you'll be hearing from her anytime soon?
Doesn't matter. We're colleagues. She's a professional. She's a great person. Very good at her job. And that's it. You know?
Did you at all try to appeal the 1-week suspension that ESPN gave you?
Not at all.
No?
It's my mistake. ESPN has every right to make the decision that they made, and I support the decision.
How do you feel like seeing all the support? I mean, there's been a lot of debate, but a lot of people have come to your defense and supporting you.
Don't worry about that.
Will you be taking any classes or courses to educate yourself on domestic violence?
I was raised in a family full of women, and I know a whole bunch of women that have talked to me about it. And of course, anything associated with domestic violence is something that I've always supported. I've always been a staunch advocate against any man putting his hands on any woman, and that will never change.
Now, that was Stephen A's being broken. So they had to break him when he said that. So now when this situation happened with Shannon, everybody got to realize what happened. Stephen A just got a $100 million contract. Ain't no way in hell he's trying to come up off that. And Stephen A got the pulse of all these things that's been going on behind the scenes. I told you guys have to look at the lawsuit that's out against Shannon Sharpe from the other girl. And that lawsuit and the exhibits, before Shannon Sharpe was going to ESPN, this girl had emails that was sent to ESPN inquiring about them potentially hiring Shannon Sharpe. So Shannon Sharpe already had people at ESPN that was on his helmet that didn't even like him or wanted him to come over there because of allegations. Because remember, the other girl that's suing Stephen A. Snitch, she worked at ESPN for the Worldwide Leader. That's Michelle Bundy. That's Michelle Evans. Michelle Bundy Evans, I believe that's her name. That's her on the screen. She worked at ESPN. She was interviewing Shannon Sharpe when he played football. So all of these people, this whole time, she has maintained contacts throughout ESPN. So people had already over at ESPN felt the way. But Stephen A. Smith, with the power that he had coming back, putting the network at number one, the power he had was enough to get Shannon Sharpe on the show with him. Remember, Stephen A. was going at Skip too, so he wanted to destroy Skip Bayless. So by any cost, he was going to destroy Skip. So him going to get Shannon, that was just an extra stomping down on Skip Bayless at that time. So Shannon comes over to ESPN, the ratings double. So all the people behind the scenes, they upset. They really don't like Shannon or Stephen A. Stephen A. already told you. Go back and listen to the live Stephen A. did when him and Jason Whitlock got into it. Stephen A. told you on that live that he had people that was going to the bosses trying to get him fired. Then the reports came out that they was already didn't like Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. and they was causing and allegedly running hell behind the scenes at the network. So now, you guys, it comes to this. So now you understand why Stephen A. Snitch was backpedaling, because now she fell away. Molly Karam fell away. Monica McNutt fell away. Sad Dog Russo fell away. Dan Orlowski fell away. So Stephen A. snitched. Once he got the pulse of how all these other co-workers felt, he just signed a $100 million deal. He ain't finna go against the grain and lose his money again for nobody. So that's the reason why Stephen A. snitched was like, man, Shay, I can't. Because remember, and M.A. $E, shout out to Mason Betha, he called this out. He was like, yo, Stephen A., when Jay-Z got accused, you had no issue jumping out there for Jay-Z saying, hey, man, I know his character. He innocent, period. When Shannon Sharpe got accused, Stephen A. was like, oh, that nigga looked like he lost his puppy. But that's because Stephen A. was put between a rock and a hard place, because the last time he made commentary on this, he got suspended from ESPN. And Stephen A. ain't trying to do nothing to jeopardize his money, because he already has many people behind the scenes that have went to the bosses that have tried to get Stephen A. Smith fired. So he don't want to ruffle no more feathers. Now, y'all, this story gets even crazier, right? So it says, however, they claim that Jason Kelsey now, right? This guy right here on your screen is the name that everyone lips right now describing his potential role on First Take as the perfect fit. So now they're going to bring in this guy to replace Shannon Sharpe. It says a lot of people love Jason Kelsey because he knows about every major U.S. sport and can engage in great, intense conversations with Stephen A. and the other hosts, claim the insider. He's clearly the favorite to land the gig. In October 2024, Shannon Sharpe allegedly violently sexually assaulted and blanked a 20-year-old woman as she cried for him to stop, according to court documents obtained by the U.S. Sun. Sharpe addressed the allegations in a statement on Instagram, saying the relationship in question was 100% consensual. He says, I plan to return to the ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. At this juncture, I'm electing to step aside temporarily from my ESPN duties. And this article goes on. And this is where it gets explosive, y'all. And everybody smash the like button. We should have over 4,000 likes in the building. This is where it gets diabolical. I want everybody around here to think about something. Shannon Sharpe has went through his situation. We've heard from Stephen A. Snitch. We've heard from other NFL football players. We've heard from other commentators. We ain't heard nothing from Molly Karam. Molly Karam do a show with Shannon Sharpe every day. Monica McNutt be on the show with him all the time, here and there. You ain't heard none of these women come out speaking up for Shannon Sharpe. Think about it again now. Molly Karam sat up there when Dana White had just pushed his wife, and Stephen A. came in there talking about, hey, Dana, man, you run the UFC, but you need to get yourself, what type of punishment you going to get yourself? Dana White said, I ain't got no punishment for myself. None. And they sat up there and let that ride. But now, Molly Karam, Monica McNutt, and all these other people, they ain't got nothing to say. It's all in the article. Again, Molly Karam and other ESPN staffers have reportedly found the ongoing storms surrounding Shannon Sharpe difficult to take. Monica McNutt is one of a number of ESPN employees said to have been rocked by the scandal. And also they named Sad Dog Russo, they named Dan Orlovsky, and somebody else they named too. But we finna get to it now, because now it goes to this part right here. It says, and let me put this on the screen. As y'all see it right there. Right? Now it says, and I will read from before this too. It says many colleagues, right? Many colleagues. Oh, let me read this before first. My bad, you guys. So it says an ESPN source suggested it was impossible for the former Denver Broncos tight end to remain on First Take, noting that many staffers questioned why ESPN hadn't suspended him immediately after the first allegation surfaced earlier this week. One quote was, "It's a massive mess," he said. "Everyone's in shock. He's ruined his reputation and most likely his career," this ESPN source said. And then it goes on, right? And then it goes on right here. Another ESPN employee described the situation as creating an unbearable war zone atmosphere, right? Another one says this: many colleagues were reportedly disgusted that Shannon Sharpe had been involved with a woman more than half his age. Now, this is where now I want everybody to listen to this. Don't jump at what I'm saying. I want to show y'all something. It didn't say the allegation right here. It said many colleagues were reportedly disgusted that Sharpe had been involved with a woman more than half his age. But these same people on a daily basis, and I'm going to say it, they have no issue with what I'm about to show you right here. And they have never, ever, and they will never go on national TV and speak about this. They will never do it. But those ESPN colleagues, not about the assault, it said, no, we ain't talking about that. See, I'm going to tell y'all what it is. They said many colleagues were reportedly disgusted that Sharpe had been involved with a woman more than half his age. Now let's keep going, because this thing gets even worse, y'all. People now think that he's toxic, the source added. Staff would have complained to the board or even quit if he hadn't stepped down. Trust has been broken. It goes on to talk about in this article, Michelle Evans and those allegations from when she filed that restraining order in 2010 when he was at CBS, and then the lawsuit she has going on against him since 2023, right? Now, this thing is crazy because, bro, they're saying that host Dan Orlovsky is said to be monitoring the situation with Shannon Sharpe. A lot of people don't like him behind the scenes. They want him gone. This is just crazy work, man. Shannon Sharpe I don't think he'll ever be back on national TV ever again, bro. And again, they got people at ESPN. They're saying that many of the people are just upset at his age difference, is what they're saying. Not even the allegation, the age difference. This is in the article. I'm going to put a link to the article in the comments so y'all can read the article. But they ain't got no problem with this. You make that make sense. Bill Belichick is 73 years old. His girlfriend just turned 24 years old in March. They met in 2021. You do the math. And yes, she's legal. I'm not going to say she's illegal. It's legal for him. We're not saying it's illegal. What we're saying is that the same ESPN staffers that praise Coach Belichick all the time, They got a problem with Shannon Sharpe. They're disgusted. Look at the quote. Disgusted that Shannon Sharpe would be with a girl he's, what, 30-something years older than. Right? They disgusted about that. All right? Damn near what? Damn near what they say? Damn near 40 or something like that? They disgusted about that. But y'all boy, he damn near 50 years older than that girl. They ain't gonna say nothing. They, like I said, look, this is the ESPN people. It's the ESPN people. So now you look at this situation. Now you see why Stephen A. Snitch came out and didn't want to double down on Shannon Sharpe, because his homegirl, who he shout out all the time, she allegedly ain't down with the play. She allegedly ain't down with the play. Molly Karam. So Stephen A., he damn sure, if Molly Karam ain't feeling Shannon Sharpe's situation right now, he damn sure can't come out standing 10 toes for Shannon Sharpe, because now that's going to cause a real issue, because, like they said in the report, not just Molly Karam, not just Monica McNutt, but multiple other women. It says everyone is in shock, is what the ESPN person said, that he was not suspended immediately. And it says it's a massive mess. And that everyone's in shock. He's ruined his reputation and most likely his career. And then they went on to completely bury Shay Sharpe. He ain't going back. It says people now think he's toxic. Staff would have complained to the board or even quit if he had not stepped down. Trust has been broken. So you had ESPN people that was willing to quit their jobs over Shannon Sharpe ain't going back, man. Because what's going to happen is now here's going to be the situation, right? They're going to go back and talk about situations like what happened with Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce got fired for doing something in his own home. That's illegal. And many people like Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce, the truth, got fired for doing something legal in his home. All Paul Pierce was doing was getting a massage on his shoulders, smoking a cigar, and playing cards. He got suspended for that. Fired for that. Fired immediately. Paul Pierce got fired on his day off. He got fired on his day off. Remember that. A lot of them people over there, they really like Paul Pierce. You never really heard people saying, hey, man, I don't like Paul Pierce. I don't like Pierce. Think about that. So Shannon Sharpe, he had already had these reports where, and it was coming out with him and Stephen A. that people didn't like. So Stephen A. like, man, I got $100 million, bro. I'm picking this cheese. I'm picking this Skrilla. Because if Stephen A., who had already been through it with that one situation where he'd been suspended, if he would have came out and stood on business and said, yo, man, I'm telling y'all this, right? Stood on business and said, hey, man, to the person who says Shannon Sharpe owns everything, owns all his mess. Excuse me, sir. What do you mean Shannon Sharpe owns all of his mess? That's not true. If that's the case, then his own NFL football colleagues wouldn't be calling him out. You know how I know? Do you know how I know? Because I got proof. You know how I know? I'm going to play it for you. Shannon Sharpe, football colleague, Ryan Clark. Here's what he had to say, sir.
To whom much is given, much is required, right? And once you reach a certain stature, it's like
and by the way, whenever you come in this comment section running your Rudy Poo candy ass mouth at me, boy, I've always got a response. I got an instant clap back, boy. I got extendos around here. So don't you ever come in here running your little punk ass mouth. Cause I have you got the questions, I got the answers, Sway. I definitely got the answers.
Folks always used to tell you, boy, don't let that money go to your head. Right? And now, a lot of times people just are who they are. And you're looking at Shannon, his brand has never really been anything that said he might not be into some of the things that we're learning, right? You could go back to the IG Live, or you could listen to some of the things that he promotes as sponsors of his show, or just certain ways he talks about women during nightcap or whatever it is, right? Like, Unc ain't never hid that. And that's not illegal, though, right? And like I said, people are going to feel how they feel about the age gap and what that means to them, right? My preference isn't that. If I have, and I do have a 20-year-old daughter, my preference for her, my advice to her, the things that I will and will not be comfortable with for her aren't that, right? I wouldn't be comfortable with my daughter who is 20 dating someone his age, but that's also not illegal. When you start getting tied into some of the things he is being charged with, accused with, or has allegedly done, no man wants to be associated with those things that's not his intent and that's not his heart. And so my biggest thing for him is, if these aren't actions that are of him, I hope that he's cleared of them. Right. And then for the young lady, if these are things that has happened to her, you hope that she's able to process that and in some way feel like she has been not only compensated, but that she has sought and found the justice that she's looking for. But it's like you said, period. It's just a bad look. Whether it's the text messages, whether it's the voice messages, whatever it is, it's a bad look. And it's a testimony for these young men who are getting their name called tonight to keep your nose clean, watch your front, watch your back, and surround you with people who truly support you. That's your family, that's your friends, that's the woman or significant other you choose. Because those people, a lot of times, will bring you down more than you'll bring yourself down. And I think that's what we're kind of witnessing here. A man who's at the height, talking about getting $100 million deal, and now you're dealing with this. It's about decision making, bro. That's what it is.
So now he's saying it's about decision making. That is the reason why I've been getting on Shannon Sharpe the whole time. Because Sharpe, you always say, man, don't fumble that bag, baby. You get that bag. Shannon Sharpe, wait till after he's retired to fumble. That's crazy. And that's the thing that when you tell like, bro, you got to know these signs. You have to know what you're dealing with, bro. And you have to be able to put yourself in better and smarter situations, because this is the result. If you don't, you will get hit with this type of shit, especially when people know your public business. It's easy for people to go out there and look up how much money you make. When Shannon Sharpe sat up there and say, nah, I don't want no older chick. I want a chick that's worth my pay. When he say that he want a chick that's on his pay level, he keep talking about money. When he talking about chick, all the audio's out there. Y'all have all heard it. They sitting back waiting. They like, oh, okay, this game right here. So what Shannon Sharpe have to do is Shannon Sharpe have to say, you know what, man, I have to understand. Because remember, his lawyer said, Shannon Sharpe's lawyer said that his relationship with the girl was consensual. And at the end of the relationship, he said it turned out to be transactional for money. So what's the mistake Shannon Sharpe made? You paying this girl. Because now she's seeing you willing to come out that pocket. So now she's seeing you willing to come out that pocket, and then you on the show, you saying all these things. Everybody's seeing these things you saying. Then you have Monique come on your show and tell you, Shay Sharpe, leave them young girls alone. You refuse to be obedient. Cat Williams come on your show, Shay Sharpe, leave them girls alone, man. They finna bring you down. You laughed at them. Laughed it off. Refused to be obedient. Now, you see what's going on. The drip situation. Anything he had in his past coming back. Your co-workers, now they letting you know how they really may have felt about you from the first place, but couldn't say nothing because of your position of power. You had the flex coming in, so your co-worker, they ain't got no flex. They can't really say nothing to the boss because you bringing in numbers. They ain't bringing in numbers you bringing in. But now, since you have allowed with your irresponsibility of dealing with that type of chick, and Shannon Sharpe have been on there bragging about OnlyFans chicks. This nigga did it to himself. He was bragging about the other OnlyFans chick. So you on OnlyFans, you've put yourself out there in front of the world. Now all these girls on OnlyFans, man, they already know. Then you breaking rule number 1. You saying stuff on the phone that can be interpreted to straight up destroy you as a man. You know though, and you're not even thinking like, yo, this might be taped. So now they really got you in the vice grip. You said, am I saying Shannon Sharpe became a sugar daddy in the end? I'm not saying that. His lawyer said it. Because his lawyer said that it is a fact that's not known, but soon will be. And the reason why his lawyer said that is because his lawyer's trying to get ahead of the story that he knows is going to come out in court. That they're going to, because what his lawyer knows is that Tony Busby and them are going to hit them with, hey man, how dare he talk about she's trying to extort him for money when he willingly was paying for the booty. So that's why Shannon's lawyer got ahead of it and said that she's money hungry. It went from being consensual to at the end, it was transactional. So everybody was getting on the girl for saying, 25K per cheek. She doing that because Shannon Sharpe opened up he was vulnerable and opened up himself to that. By what? The things he say out of his mouth on these podcasts. Shannon Sharpe and them be having 20,000, 30,000, sometimes 40,000 people in those lives. You don't think half them Jones is chicks that's trying to get on? You don't think that? Now they pulling up old video on Shay Sharpe. They pulling up old photos and videos from 2024 on Shannon Sharpe of chicks running up on him. See what I'm saying? Y'all see how that chick was all up on Shannon Sharpe? Y'all see how she was all up on Shay Sharpe? TMZ and them, they running this stuff now. This right here. See how short all them shorties? Now, Shay Sharpe, he gonna move and think different now. He gonna move and think different now. And that was Shorty who ran up on Shannon Sharpe. Sign my back. Whispering something all in his ear. And look at all those people standing right there behind him. Watching. So when you at that position and you in that type of, you got that type of juice, the way Shay Sharpe had that type of juice, man, people looking at you like, man, this game right here. That's why you got to be smarter than that. Way smarter than that. You got 100 million on the line. Think about this, y'all. You got Shannon Sharpe already getting bread, but you got 100 million on the line. Real talk. You got 100 million on the line. And to the brother who says, hey, why you lying? This shit ain't true. I ain't lying. Sir, you can go look this article up right now. I don't have no reason to lie, sir. Article just came out today, a couple hours ago. So I'm going to block you just for coming in here capping. Get off your knees, boy. You blocked. See right there? See the time it was published right there at the bottom of your screen, sir? Nigga, I was never capping. You better learn not to come play these games with me. And that's the reason why I do screenshots of the article. And that's the reason why I put this stuff on the screen. What does it say right there, sir? People now think he's toxic, the source said from ESPN. It says the staff would have complained to the board or even quit if he had not stepped down. How am I lying? How am I capping, nigga? Brush your teeth, boy. And wash your face when you come in here talking to a real man, nigga. Like I said, I'm trying to help dudes from not losing 100 million, bro. You got 100 million on the wood. Everybody looking at you, dog. When you getting paper the way Shay Sharpe was getting paper, everybody looking at you. Shannon Sharpe was on live bragging about the money he made from the Cat Williams video. What you thought these OnlyFans freaks was gonna do? What you thought they watching? You got 30,000, 40,000 people a night in the chat nightcap, and you letting them know? He straight up said, I want a sinner. I don't want no good. I want a sinner. And God said, go to hell. He asked for it. These are facts. He said on his show, he said, nah, Ocho, I want a sinner, boy. He got sent one. And that's going to cost you 100 million plus. That's going to cost you 100 million plus. That's why it was lame of him to use any excuse, because Shannon Sharpe's the one who allegedly approached this girl. That's the same way as your parent telling you when you were a kid, do not touch that stove. That stove is hot. But you refuse to follow instructions. So what did you do? You're like, nah, I'm gonna go check this out. You burn your hand, and now you screwed. You refuse to follow instructions. Shannon Sharpe was giving wisdom and knowledge and advice from Monique and Cat Williams, two prominent people in the black community. And he refused that advice. He came on TV and said he wanted a center. God sent him exactly what he wanted. Now everybody mad? Can't happen like that. He said that. He said on the show and bragged about OnlyFans chicks. About one OnlyFans chick named, I forget what her name was, Sky something he was bragging about. Yeah, bragging. What you think these chicks is doing? They watching. Shay Sharpe went up there. He bragged about how much money he made from the Cat Williams interview. Yeah, you thought I made that? Double it. So what the chicks was doing? They doubling up on you. They tripling up on you. They on game. They on code. They on code. Shannon Sharpe got to be on point. See, somebody said this today and they so right. When your money go up like that, your senses and your brain and the way you move got to go up too. How you think. You can't get wilder the more money you get. The more money you get, the wilder you get, the more problems you're going to have. It's like the more money you get, the more on point you got to be. The more paranoid you got to be. The more cautious you got to be. You got to move in a different type of way. I'm telling y'all this. You got to know what type of chick to deal with, man. Who, you know what I'm saying? Like, real talk, bro. That goofy chick, man. Look at this girl, man. I'm just being honest with y'all, man. We have to be on Shay Sharpe. This can't happen, bro. Come on, man. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Bro, you Shannon Sharpe, man. You in the NFL Football Hall of Fame, bro. One of the greatest players that ever played a game. You're one of the biggest personalities on all of TV right now, Shannon Sharpe. And this is what you wrote? This? Come on, bro. Come on, man. Let's come on, bro. What we doing? There ain't nobody else to blame but him. I got $100 million on the line. Ain't no way in blue hell. Ain't no way in hell. You got to be down bad, personally. Nobody around you had game to put you onto this stuff? So again, bro, when you look in the mirror and all of the preaching you was doing to everybody else, that's the thing. You can't have that on your helmet when you was saying all that stuff you was saying to them other football players, specifically Deshaun Watson. When you said Deshaun Watson, he did this to himself. And Deshaun Watson was getting hit by Tony Busby, and Shannon Sharpe knew it. And he told Deshaun, you did this to yourself. Well, Shay, you did this to yourself, brother. And that's the reason why y'all see more cats that's on YouTube and more cats that's in the community that is backing Sharpe up than cats that's actually at celebrity status or actually on that level. They got a lot of money because they understand the dynamics of these certain situations. See, a lot of people that take up for Shannon Sharpe, they wouldn't even have made the move Shannon Sharpe made. $100 million? I got $100 million bag on the way. I got to get this $100 million from the company to my house. I ain't fumbling that shit for nobody. I'm not running no red lights. I'm driving in between all the lines. I'm following all the directions. I'm using my signal every time I change lanes. Damn it, I might not even change lanes unless I have to. And I'm riding in the slow lane. You ain't gonna have no opportunity to say I'm speeding. We got to get that thing home. So again, Shay Sharpe was wilding out. Now it shows y'all. Now all of this stuff with all of his co-workers and stuff, now y'all see this stuff coming out, how it is now. Y'all see the play now. Now he get to see how these people really feel. Not benefit of the doubt, but people may feel a certain way because things behind the scenes that they may have seen or felt. Didn't say nothing, but now they feel like, oh, yeah. See what I'm saying? And they using the words of, you know what I'm saying? Unbearable war zone he's created. That's crazy. They're using these type of words. They're disgusted. The football player just told you, he was like, if I got a 20-year-old daughter, ain't no way in hell she coming home with no Shannon Sharpe. That ain't happening. I don't give a damn who. He said, Ryan Clark said, hey, man, I got a 20-year-old daughter. She ain't coming home with Shannon Sharpe. I don't care what y'all. He said, it's legal. Y'all do it. You do whatever the hell you want to do over there. He ain't coming home. You ain't coming home with my daughter. That's how he feel. So when they say this, a lot of people feel different ways about that. But it's funny to me. I said this again. They only did that with Shannon Sharpe. These people did not look down on Hugh Hefner like that. Hugh Hefner was celebrated before he passed away. Everybody wanted to go to the Playboy Mansion. Think about all these things I'm putting in y'all's brain. You can take this same coalition and look at the situation and a whole different thing with primetime Deion Sanders. Primetime Deion Sanders, legend in the game, paid the cost to be the boss. Won Super Bowl with 2 different teams. Legendary player. This dude went and played baseball, almost won a major league championship, and would have been an MVP if his team would have won. In baseball. That's how bad primetime Deion Sanders was. Primetime Deion Sanders come out here, he not putting nobody in prison. He ain't hurting nobody. He ain't taking nobody's life. None of that. All he doing is talking a little bit of smack, which is what everybody do on the football field, and raising his sons. That's all he doing. He come out here and do the same thing that Archie Manning did with his sons. And Archie Manning's son looked like he didn't even want to be up there when they drafted him to the Chargers. And his daddy said, hey, man, the Chargers better not draft my son. Chargers took his son first. And guess what? He didn't get blackballed. You know what he did? They probably made a call behind the scenes and said, hey, man, if you don't get my son the hell up out of there, 40 minutes later, his son was traded. His son was traded 40 minutes later to the New York Giants. Primetime Deion Sanders said, hey, man, look, man. Hey, man, my son, man, I don't want my son going to Cleveland. Guess what happens? Not only did they drop him to the 5th round, not only did they publicly humiliate him by allowing his private number that was only by the team personnel to get out so they could prank him and demoralize him in front of the world, They drafted him to the Cleveland Browns, the same team as Daddy said he didn't want to go. And Cleveland got 4-5 quarterbacks for what they saying online. Public humiliation. And Primetime Sanders put in way more work than Archie Manning. And y'all seen this. So again, they always gonna put you, and then you got black folks out here telling Deion, Stephen A. Snitch go up there and turn on Deion talking about, it's your fault, Deion. You ain't said that about Archie Manning. You didn't open your mouth on Archie Manning. Stephen A. Snitch. Peyton Manning, brother, Eli Manning was drafted in 2001. You ain't say nothing about him. You didn't grill his daddy like that, but you dare come out and grill primetime Deion Sanders. I never talk to Stephen A. Smith ever again if I was primetime. Because if you ain't had that same energy for Eli and Archie Manning, why you coming in here whooping and hollering at me on TV today? You know why? Because Stephen A. got to let them know, y'all pay me this $100 million, I'm going to stay in pocket. Remember, Stephen A. was out here, he was talking super gangster. Yeah, LeBron ain't finna do nothing to me. I got security. And you see that 330-pound guy right there? Yeah, man. And when I go city to city, they got the FBI, they got the police, and everybody watching after me. I'm an investment. I make money for the mouse. He let y'all already know what time it is. There was no way. He praised Molly all the time. There's no way he going against her. Nope, because it would have been too many voices in that women's thing against Stephen A. He was not risking $100 million. Stephen A. don't probably put down payments on houses. I heard he got a new house in Miami. All of these different things. You think Stephen A. giving that up? Man, y'all lost y'all damn mind. You thinking he giving up that money? Stephen A. just bought a new house in Miami. He need that bread. He cannot, for no reason, lose that cheese. And trust me, they got clauses in his contract that say I can take that cheese if you violate any of these rules. Trust me when I'm telling y'all this. And that's what it is. So he ain't finna go against Molly and these people, man. But this is the situation that's going on, you guys. Y'all can see the article right there. It's online right now on the U.S. Sun. It just came out. Y'all can read the whole article for yourselves. They're saying that the ESPN employees was ready to quit if they did not fire or suspend Shannon Sharpe. That's insane. But they was all ready to quit. See what I'm saying? So, yeah. And again, Sharpe's going to, I hope he learn and don't put out that business like that on there. And don't be out here talking down on these other dudes when you know what I'm saying, you living in a glass house, dog, like the way you was doing. Talking about Kyrie ain't got no brain. And, bro, this man said all this shit about Kyrie. Think about this. This man talked about Kyrie Irving's mental, and Shannon Sharpe just fumbled $100 million. How in the blue hell you going to talk about somebody else's mental situation and you just blew $100 million? And I'm going to tell y'all something. Kyrie, Russell Westbrook, Deshaun Watson, all these dudes is good people. Because they could be easily piling on Shannon Sharpe right now for all the shit he said about them. Zion, them dudes all keeping it a G. Said, nah, dog, I ain't going to kick you while you down like you did us. They could easily be banging on these dudes. Same thing with Skip Bayless. He got hit with a sexual assault lawsuit. And all them dudes, Skip Bayless, came down on talking crazy like a dog about his whole career. They all let Skip Bayless off the hook. They could have all went in on Skip then. Sitting up there calling Chris Bosh out his name. The man said, he a grown man. Don't call me that, man. My family got pride. He stood up there and said, nah, I'm going to call you this. And told him to his face he going to call him Bosh Spice. Didn't get his grill knocked out the back of his head. Coach, what's up, baby? Salute to you. Shout out to my brother Coach in the building. But Shannon Sharpe sat up there and he told everybody what he was making, all that stuff, what he was doing. and all the types of chicks he like, he asked for it. He said he asked for a center, and the man upstairs gave him what he was looking for. Why is anybody mad? He need to be upset at his own decisions and what he put, the box he put himself in, especially when you schooling younger dude. That's just like me going to somebody and telling them, hey, y'all, hey, don't do this, man. Don't go out there and rob a bank, man. They're going to lock your ass up. Next thing you know, I'm on the news tomorrow for robbing the bank. Hey, kids say, hold on, man. Didn't you tell me don't rob a bank? But you out here, you don't want to rob the bank? Make it make sense. You out here criticizing people for dating people half your age, but you doing the same thing. You gonna criticize Donald Rollins and tell him, man, why you ain't gonna date her mama, man? Why you date that daughter like that, man? Where you find her at Forever 21? But you went and found a girl that was 19, 20 years old. Come on, man. The man upstairs was gonna bring judgment down on you. You kept playing that game. Then you doing this with all this money on the wood. So you feeling like, man, he did a Cat Williams interview. Man, that nigga was feeling stupid strong. The whole community's behind him. He changed his whole outlook. Shannon Sharpe changed his whole. Shannon Sharpe went from being the nerd who was sitting up there. Go back and listen to Shannon Sharpe, y'all, when he was on CBS. I want y'all to listen to this. Listen to Shay Sharpe when he was on CBS. Prove me if I'm wrong. When he was on CBS, oh yeah, oh good old Shay, yeah, Shannon Sharpe, yes sir. Oh yeah, Dan, I'm gonna take right now. Oh see, yeah. Soon as he got over to FS1 and Skip, oh yeah, oh Skip, oh you know I got good old Unc, Shay, you know what I mean? Yeah, I put this black and brown in my mouth, man. Smoke this blunt right quick, man. You see what I'm saying? Put the do-rag on right here, man. And drink this yak. You understand? Got to have that yak before I break that backs. Oh, yeah. He started feeling himself. Iced out, wearing all the chains. Shay Sharpe never did that. I got this watch, bragging about your jewelry and stuff. Man, them ladies sitting right there looking. Game time. Game time. Them ladies looking like game time. We finna rack up. We got one. They doing what they supposed to do. See a fool, play a fool. Again. But you asked for it. I want a center. I couldn't believe he said that. I said, bro, you really said that? You sat up there with a straight face and said he wanted a center. He said that. He said that. He said, nah, man, I want a center. I couldn't believe he said that, bro.
And that's one of the topics for tonight. And I tweeted you earlier today about her. I said, listen, what y'all think about this God-fearing woman who has herself aligned in the right places being unionized with
Nah, I'm looking for a center.
Huh?
I'm looking for a center. I'm looking for a center. Send me Miss Nasty B. What her name was? Oh, and what did you say? I would need an umbrella.
Miss Nasty B?
Yeah, I'm looking for. I don't want nobody walking in the straight and narrow.
No?
Nah, I want a center. That's what I'm looking for.
Think about you on that private jet with Yvonne, and y'all going over the word, going on to your next destination. Y'all having prayer and Bible study together. You need a woman like that in your life.
Yeah. Give me Miss Nasty B. I have the Bible right there by my bed. Lord forgive.
Now see, he playing those games. And that's exactly what he got. He asked for it. So you can't then come around and say, oh man, Tony Busby's trying to tear down, he targets black men. That's a goddamn, let me tell y'all something. This stuff right here with these black dudes, this is small effing potatoes for Tony Busby. Small potatoes. Don't y'all understand that? Y'all small potatoes for Tony Busby. Tony Busby out here suing major companies that's owned by white folks, getting multi-billions of dollars. These companies. Y'all are what he do for fun. Go look at Tony Busby's resume, man. Tony Busby been out here suing these big oil rigs owned by white folks. The BP oil spill owned by white folks. Man, that man getting 80, 90, 200, $300 million settlements from them people. Go look, it's all up there. So the point of the story is, man, is that now you see what happened. And listen, all that stuff Shay Sharpe was saying, all these chicks, I ain't gonna say crazy, but all these chicks that's on ESPN, man, they listen to that dude's show. You don't think Molly and them miss ever so, I'm so good, and all these other women, you don't think they hearing this stuff when Shannon Sharpe talking about, yeah, I like me them young girl. Man, listen, you at ESPN, bro. What you thought you was gonna get, dog? They already jealous because of your position. They already jealous because of your position. Right? So, and I'm talking about co-workers there. You got co-workers that are gonna be jealous because your position, you getting money and you get preferential treatment because you bringing in viewership. And they're probably like, oh damn, I work hard too, but I don't get none of this. Nah, well, you just, you know what I'm saying? Some people got to be Michael Jordan. Some people got to be BJ Armstrong. It is what it is. But you saying this stuff, bro, your coworkers, man, them fake ass high and mighty people at your job, they listening and they jealous and they envious but you put yourself in a box.
And that's one of the topics for the night. And I tweeted you earlier today about her. I said, listen, what y'all think about this God-fearing woman who has herself aligned in the right places being unionized with
Nah, I'm looking for a sinner.
Huh?
I'm looking for a sinner. I'm looking for a sinner. Send me Miss Nasty B. What her name was? Oh, and what did you say? I would need an umbrella.
Miss Nasty B?
Yeah, I'm looking for. I don't want nobody walking in the straight and narrow.
No?
Nah. I want a sinner. That's what I'm looking for.
Think about you on that private jet with Yvonne, and y'all going over the word, going on to your next destination. Y'all having prayer and Bible study together. You need a woman like that in your life.
Yeah. Give me Miss Nasty B. I have the Bible right there by my bed. Lord, forgive me for what I'm about to do.
Now, and see, he playing with the man upstairs. You playing that game, right? You playing that game, right? You see this. You playing that game, right? I'm just telling y'all what it is, right? So this is the type of things he was doing. Then he was up there, I told you, he was up there bragging about the other OnlyFans chick. He was up there bragging about it.
You know who Scott Bree is, Ocho?
Scott Bree? Who that is, Coach?
Yeah. How I do it.
Hey, Scott, I mean, who is that? Help me out.
You know what I'm saying? She little something. You know, she might be famous for vertical activity that she's good at. You know who Scott Bree is, Ocho?
Scott Bree? Who that is, Coach?
Yeah. How I do it.
Hey, Scott, I mean, who is that? Help me out.
You know what I'm saying? She little something. You know, she might be famous for vertical activity that she.
Now you getting all that bread. You saying this in the public. What you think them other OnlyFans chicks thinking? What do you think they're thinking? He on live wearing a jewelry, all this other stuff, saying this and saying that, yeah. All this stuff he's saying. Think about this now.
How about date your age. Well, I want to date my wage. I'm finna shut all this ish down tonight. I want to date my wage.
Stay right here.
Where y'all at? Hey, chat, where they at?
Hold on. Cause you know I keep it on me now.
Yeah.
I keep it on me. You want to date your what?
I want to date my wage, not my age. I want to date my wage. So where are they? Because y'all always talking about date your age, date your age. I want to date my wage. So come on with it.
Well, you talking
as a matter of fact, I'm taking applicants as we speak.
Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Like, share, subscribe, bro. You know what I'm saying? Salute to everybody tapping on in. So, y'all let me know what y'all feel, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't say you want a center, get a center, and then cry and say, hey, man, you set me up. Man, you asked for a center. You asked for a straight center. You got what you asked for, Playboy. And now, you know what comes with that? All this other stuff. You losing the ESPN job. And people forgot about this. Y'all know how much Shannon Sharpe's worth is as far as working with ESPN? Shannon Sharpe was probably making around $10-some million a year working with ESPN. So people ain't even talking about the money he just lost with ESPN. And the ESPN money is bigger than the money he's making on his own. That corporation money is bigger than the money Shannon Sharpe's making on his own right now. Because he didn't get that $100 million yet. So that ESPN money, shit, Shannon Sharpe was probably gonna make $100 million. He was probably gonna eventually get $100 million like Stephen A was getting over on First Take on ESPN. Because of the trajectory that he is on. You lost all that money, and you don't lost this deal right here probably for this $100 million. This dude probably lost like $200-something million. That's crazy. And you can't say it's a smear campaign because Shannon Sharpe, he brought it upon himself. He went on the live shows. He talked about how much money he was making from the interviews. He talked about these OnlyFans chicks. He said he didn't want no chick to settle down with. He said he wanted these young chicks. That's what he said. So the man upstairs said, hey, man, wish granted. What he didn't want is the repercussions of what came with what he asked for. Now, you can't get mad when you reap the repercussions of what you asked for in life. He didn't want what came with being that sinning girl, which could be potentially lies, deception, deceit, all of these things. But since you wanted that type of girl, and since you had no real compassion for other people who, you told old boy, Deshaun Watson, hey, man, you did this to yourself. Now, all these people in ESPN, they acting like they got an issue with you. Bro, you got Shannon Sharpe got to think about this, man. He hurting. I'm telling y'all that nigga hurting, my honesty. You think about losing $150, $200 million. And y'all got to understand, he get a lot of money off sponsorships. So what if your sponsorships drop you now? Man, that bread is going down quick. That hurts. The power of the tongue is real. The power of the tongue is real. You can speak things into existence. That's why I never want to be around people who are negative all the time or think negatively. I want people who think positive, who are winners, who want to win. And smash the like button. We should have over 4,000 likes. I want to be around people who want to win, who want to be successful, who want to beat the next. Now, if you always talking negative, man, I can only come around me, bro. Why you always talking about failure? Why you always talking negative about not achieving something? Man, I don't want somebody that's going to talk about achieving some stuff around me, man. Let's talk about greatness, man. We ain't finna be talking about no taking L's. So, yeah, man. Y'all let me know what y'all feel, man. Let me know what y'all feel about this, man. You know what I'm saying? He says, why not ride for Shannon? Because Shannon didn't ride for black folks. The proof is in the pudding. Go back and listen to what he said about Kyrie. Demonized him, talked about him like a dog, talked about his mindset, told Kyrie, because Kyrie thought one thing. He basically dismissed Kyrie. What about what he did with the other brother who was in the same situation as him, Deshaun Watson? He said Deshaun Watson did that to himself. And he said that the woman who accused Deshaun Watson deserve to have just the same amount of voice as Deshaun Watson. That's exactly what Shannon Sharpe said on national TV. You want me to keep going? I can keep cooking. It's too easy. So don't nobody want to hear about it's a shakedown. It's not a shakedown when you shook yourself down. How is it a shakedown when you showed everybody you a trick? Period. Shannon Sharpe let y'all know what it was. How is it a shakedown? She only did what you been sitting out here, putting out here in the mainstream media. I'm asking. His lawyer said he was paying for it. So if you were willingly paying this woman, that's not a shakedown. That's an agreement. Emily, he put himself in that dangerous situation with all this money on the wood. Period. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. I know a lot of dudes her age, they wouldn't even take her to McDonald's, bro. Come on, man. I'm just keeping it real with y'all, man. I know a lot of little homies that's around her age, they wouldn't even take her to McDonald's, bro. She ain't even worthy of a meal to some of these dudes I know. Like, they wouldn't even pay no attention to her, bro. Like, she ain't even, like, come on, bro. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Shannon Sharpe on the phone with this thing having deep conversations. Y'all let me know what y'all feel, man. That junk couldn't even cook a meal for Shannon Sharpe. Think about this. She couldn't even cook a meal for him. If he wanted her to cook a meal, she couldn't even cook a meal. He couldn't even say, hey, baby, go in the kitchen and cook me some dinner, please. She couldn't even cook a meal. I'm just being honest with you. Like, share, subscribe, man. Y'all let me know what y'all feel. If y'all ain't subscribed, subscribe, share the video, hit the like button, man. You know, sad, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all let me know what y'all think. All right, you guys. So we appreciate everybody that popped in, supported this video. Make sure that you guys shop our merch. We got that new A-Weapons merchandise right there below this video. All you got to do is look below. The links will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well to get the merch, to donate, support the channel, and subscribe to our podcast show. You'll see all those links pinned at the top of the comment section of this video. And we appreciate everybody that supports this channel and our networks. Also, that straight drop weight loss formula. Go to the website. You guys will see that. A link for that will be pinned at the top of the comment section as well. Go right there for all of your weight loss needs. Straight drop weight loss formula. We have a lot of testimonials on the website. You can go to www.str-8-drop.com and get you some of the weight loss formula today. Take your weight loss serious. Get in the gym, work out, exercise, and do what you got to do to stay on point. We appreciate everybody that's been locked into this video. Again, all the links are pinned at the top of the comment section below. Salute to all of y'all. And again, we appreciate everybody who support what we doing over here.